So in problem 3, we want to find the area completely enclosed by these two curves. We've got a straight line here, increasing because the slope is 3 and it crosses at -6, and a quadratic here that opens downward. Now we're not given, like a couple of problems, we're given like x equals something to x equals something. We're not given that here. So we're going to have to find where these two curves intersect to find out our limits of integration. So to find out where they intersect, let's set them equal to each other. So we'll get 3x minus 6 equals -x squared plus 4x, and I'm going to solve for x. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get everything on the left side. So I'm going to add x squared, subtract 4x. So I'm going to get x squared. Now, I've got 3x's. If I subtract 4x's, I've got minus x. Now I've got that minus 6 equals 0. Looks like this is going to factor, doesn't it? How about x and x? I'm thinking 3 and 2. Yeah, and then a -3, a +2. So how about x is -2 to x equals 3? So in the first two problems, we were actually given these values, those lines, but now we had to do a little upfront work just to get them. I'm going to write our formula for the area bounded by two curves. So it's going to go from A to B of, all right, f of x, that represents the upper curve, and g of x, that represents the lower curve, right? So I'll just say it here. This is the upper curve, or the top of the rectangle. This is the lower curve, or the bottom of the rectangle. And then we need to decide which one of these curves that we're given up here is the upper and the lower. All right, so it's not so obvious as it was in the last two problems, so I think what we might have to do is construct a graph just to be sure. Now, I constructed this graph with that program called Desmos. You could just plot a few points and probably get it. But it turns out, by looking at the graph, the parabola all the way from here, all the way through to here, the parabola lies above the line. So this is the upper curve, this is the lower curve. So be careful here, right? Down here in our formula it says f minus g. It doesn't necessarily mean that this one is the f and this is the g. The f is just the upper curve and the g is the lower curve. And when we get a look at our picture here, we can see that for us, in our particular situation, this is the upper curve, the g, and this is the lower curve. So here's our area. Our area is going to go between, right, -2 and 3 of the upper curve, which is -x squared plus 4x, minus the lower curve, which is 3x minus 6 dx. Let's simplify that a little bit. This is going to be -2 to 3 of, what do we get here? -x squared, and then what do we get? 4x minus 3x, right? 4x minus 3x is just an x, and then we're going to have this minus a -6, right? Minus -6 is a +6 dx. Let's integrate. We will get -x cubed over 3 plus x squared over 2 plus 6x, and we're going between -2 and 3. Put in our upper limit. So we will get -3 cubed over 3 plus 3 squared over 2 plus 6 times 3 minus, now let's put in the -2, so careful with all these negatives, -2 cubed over 3 plus -2 squared over 2 plus 6 times -2. Let's see what we have. This is what? -27 over 3 plus 9 over 2 plus 18 minus, I'll do this piecewise here. So what do we get here? -2 cubed is -8. -8 is 8. So I get 8 over 3 plus, now -2 squared is 4 over 2, and then minus 12. Get rid of all those parentheses. I'll do it at the top right here. So -27 over 3 plus 9 over 2 plus 18 minus 8 over 3 minus, okay, 4 over 2 is just a 2, and then plus 12. So where are we here? negative 27 minus 8, I think, is negative 35. So negative 35 over 3 plus 9 over 2. Now, where are we? 18 minus 2 is 16. 16 and 12, so 28. Let's write everything with a common denominator, which I think here is 6. So I'm going to write all these 3 terms over 6. So let's see, 3 will go into 6 twice, so I'm going to double that top, negative 70. 2 will go into 6 3 times, so I'll triple that top, getting a plus, well, 27. And then, what do we have here? This is really a 1. So 1 will go into 6 6 times. I'm going to multiply that by 6. And my calculator says that is a 168. So now we're here, all this over 6. Negative 70 plus 27 plus 168. And I'm getting 125 over 6. Okay, so that's the exact value. On my calculator, I did that, and I'm going to round off to 2 places. 20.83, so either one of those is a good answer.